Welcome back. It's been a couple weeks. I was away last week. My youngest was competing at nationals and did really well. Just came back, not yesterday, Tuesday. I can't keep track of my days. I'm still so tired, but it was so worth going to watch. So it was good. Um, oh, Sorry, forgot to turn off the iPad here. Let's see. Okay, we'll make sure that's on. If you're new here, welcome. Um, I'm Linda Gibbs. Like I said, I tend to go through if you go to my old previous videos, it's all things Stampin' Up, how to use them, in new ways, different ways. I have a tendency to go with the what if I do this or what if I tried this? I don't want to say I get bored, but I think it's the challenge. I like to figure out new ways to use things, stretch your supplies, hopefully inspire you to pull out your supplies and use them because even if I'm showing a new product that's just come out or something, a lot of times if it's a technique, you can use it with any product that you have. And you can try the same thing. It'll have a different look, obviously, but you can always apply it to whatever you have as well. So um, that is my goal, that you pull out your things and you craft and you enjoy and all the things. If you enjoy watching, don't forget to like. If you haven't already subscribed, please feel free to subscribe. I'd love to grow this channel. A couple of reminders before we turn around and get crafting. The product of the month is the Berry Botanical Vellum. There's only a couple more days. We're at the end of May, so there's a few more days of that. I just got it. I hadn't even opened it. I opened it today. There's some beautiful flowers, and if I didn't have my May Club to do as my cards today. I so wanted, I can't remember who it was, another demonstrator took one of these floral vellums and they used the take a pic tool to pop the flowers up. And oh my gosh, it was so beautiful. So I don't know if you can, like, this is vellum. It's not, see if I could, there, you can see through it. So there's the purple posy and then some more florals. And then there's these beautiful polka dots, which I think will be great for Christmas. I haven't taught Christmas yet, but that's just what I think of when I see it. So, if you haven't already gotten your hands on that, it is so when you spend $100, you can add this for $7 into your cart. The other thing that is almost ending is the starter kit special. So for till the end of the month, you can get all the new in color ink pads on top of all your product, or you can get an extra $50 worth of product. So it's 135. You get $165 worth of product plus the ink pads or another $50. So no tax, no shipping if you're in Alberta. There is the other taxes, just no GST. If you're in another province, if you would like to join my team, I'd love to have you. Let me know if you have questions. Hi, Linda. No equipment unpacked yet. Oh dear. Better start unpacking if we're going to do club tonight. You don't need a lot though. Okay, let's turn around and get started. Let's do the awkward turnaround here with the hand in the way, I haven't figured out a nice way of doing that. Someday. Someday. All right. So this month for our May club, I have a monthly club. It runs from September to June, so we're on our second last month. This month the product that was included was the watercolor pencils. So, and I think it's the part one. There's like volume one, volume two. This is the larger of the sets. I think there's 13 colors. So you can get both sets if you want more variety of color. I do have both sets, and some of these are old, so some of these colors in here don't even exist anymore, but I tend to keep them just in the old stamp cases, and I believe these cases are still available to be purchased as extras. So um, if you're looking on how to store your pencils, this holds a lot of them. I still have room for a few more. So that is how I keep them. Now, for my first um, card, this one is simple but cute. I used the Artisan Sketched Garden Designer Series paper, which is one of the papers that you will be able to. Wait, now I'm getting confused. No, it's available now. May. Yes, the catalog has begun. Oh my gosh, my brain. When I'm sleep deprived, my brain does not work so good. I don't know about you guys. I had some very dumb moments when I was away. All right. My poor brain needs sleep or it doesn't function. So then I did, I don't know if you can see this. This is I believe, so when I designed these cards, this was in the last chance items list, and it was still available. I did not check today to see if it still is. It's the beautiful pattern background, but you could use any background. You could use any embossing folder that you like. And then I'm gonna take, so there's a whole, see if it's handy. There's a whole page of these vases, which I have shown this paper before, but just pull it out again. So there's this whole page. So I provided in our kits, everybody got a strip so they can choose which set of plants that they want to use on their card and make multiple cards. I think I'm going to use this one, or maybe this one. So with this, oh, I forgot to pull out. One moment, please. I meant to pull out my binder pen. So my goal of these 3 cards, so we always do 3 cards or 3 projects. And so my goal with this was to show different ways to use the watercolor crayons. And so this is just simple, um, plain Jane. Let's see. I don't want to use colors that you guys don't have. So should be Melon Mambo somewhere in here. I'll use that for my, and then maybe some old olive. There we go. Okay. Use those 3. So for the first one, if you're, because I'm using it on fairly thin paper, like this isn't as thick as our cardstock, and it's definitely not watercolor paper, I don't want to necessarily be using a water painter. So our blender pens are great for turning these pencils into what looks like watercolor. So I'm going to start on my vase. Obviously, I've got some water here, so I'm going to just color it in here. And I don't know if it would be darker towards the bottom, maybe. And you don't have to fill the whole thing, like it doesn't have to be corner to corner because you can bring the edges. So then I'm going to start on the lighter part and I'm going to go down because that way you're dragging the color down instead of going dark. And then as you're trying to get lighter, it's getting darker because you have all that color on your tip. So I like to come down from the light to the dark because I think you have more control that way. And then I'll just clean. So when you have a blender pen, You can just take it and wipe it off till the color no longer shows, and then you can go again if you want to, or you can wait for it to dry to add more. But then when each time you change colors, you can use the same tip. You just have to clean off the tip. So then I'm gonna kind of put more color on the edges, and then the blender pen can do the work. I do like to make sure, like this one's not very sharp. I do find it's easier to have control and do what you want when they are sharper. And then again, so for this one, because I left it white, I think it's better to pull the color up. But you could also come down. And then you might want to wipe it off in between if you're not wanting, you want it to go light to dark and you'd want that control. So as soon as you hit that color, it just picks it up and brings it in. Okay, and then we have our old olive. It's hard to tell where these go into. Just kind of give it a bit of color here. I think I just colored empty nest, but that's okay. Make sure the pink is off, and then I'll come in with the green. And it just kind of smooths out the pencil. And it looks like you've got a watercolor. So I find it easier to color it first and then to fussy cut it. Oh, and exciting, the new snips are coming for July. They're available right now for pre-order for demonstrators. I have not put in my order yet, but I would like to. I want to see how similar they are to these. I do need a new pair of sharp ones that I want to designate for ribbon, and I went to buy them and they were no longer carrying them, so I need a pair either way. But I will purchase some and let you know how they compare if you have the older ones. And if you don't, I'll just let you know what I think of them. If they're worth buying. All right. So you get like these are nice, fairly large sketches, so they're easy enough to cut out, and you don't have to be super precise. You don't have to get into all the nooks and crannies, and you can leave, it's up to you how much white you want to leave, but I feel like because I'm putting this onto white, it's not as big a deal if I have a bit more white showing. So it just kind of blends in. So that is my colored vase, and then I've got I pre-cut the little banner using the triple banner punch, and that one I'm going to take the For You from the Words and Wishes stamp set, which is in our newest catalog, and I will take maybe I should use the new black. I got to get used to using it. It's definitely less messy on the lid, at least so far. Maybe it's because the other one's been used so much. I'm pretty sure, oh, maybe I don't have enough room on here. I think I might have, oh, I did. I had fancy cut it and extended it, so this is a little bit too small. All right, let me show you how to make it so that it's longer. So this is a perfect example and the easiest. I'm actually going to stamp first so that I know how much room I need. And I'm going to take my, and I want my angle on this side, so I'm going to come in like so. And I don't want it to cut. No, I didn't use it. What the heck did I do? I thought I used the triple banner punch. I don't think I did. Oh, you know what I did? I used this one. And then I cut it, I think. That is what I did. I designed these a while ago before I left for Ontario, so my memory is a little fuzzy. All right, and then I just cut like this. And then I've got my, but if you have one that fits in here, that works too. I totally wasn't thinking there. And then I took some of the old olive rickrack, I think it's called. This was part of the Bugs suite. I think it's still available, but it's super cute. And then I cut a couple pieces of designer series paper. So Linda, for you, it is 4 by 2.5. And then I have one that is 4 by 1. And I'm simply gonna stack them on top of each other. So for this, I like to use glue when I have an embossed background. And my background is just a 1/4 of an inch less, so it would be 4 by 5 1/4. Is this white embossed piece. And then this one is just going to go on top like that. Oh, wait, wait. Oh, actually, I can go around the back, I guess. Never mind. I was going to say you could put this around the paper, but I can also loop it around the back. And for me, I don't know if I did it on this one or not, but I like to take, because glue would go right through this. Ooh, my heat tool just fell. I'm just going to take the tear and tape and add a little bit so that it wraps around like so. And then you can just peel it. Ooh, oh no. I'm gonna have to alter my, where was that black? There must be some black on something, or maybe on my fingers. No. Mystery. I think I'm gonna have to put, on my original card, my vase is on this side, but I might have to put it on that side. And then I'm just gonna wrap it around like so. Then we've got our, and I'm just gonna cut. If you've got a lot hanging off, you can cut it. Okay, and then, like I said, originally it was going to go here, but I think it's going to go here instead, in which case my banner should go the opposite way, but whatever. I could redo my words if I really wanted to be picky. But I can do that later. Don't need to bore you. Then where we have like these grasses, can cut just, I like to put a little bit of support just so it doesn't, otherwise it gets bent coming out of the envelope or going back in. And so I like to have a little bit of extra. There. And then we'll make sure it covers it up. There's always a way to fudge your mistakes. And if you're not videoing a how-to video, then nobody would ever know. Unfortunately, now I have evidence, but it's covered. It was never there. And I think I'm going to redo, well, it's not. What do you think? Should I redo my banner so the arrows going the other way? Or what do you think? I'm scared to put my paper down now. Okay. I'm worried there's some black looming somewhere. Okay, then we just line it up and stick it on, and then we'll pretend that this is on here. I don't know, it's not as bad as I thought having it this way. I might just stick it on, I'll decide. But so this is my original where I didn't have a boo-boo. And this is my boo-boo one, which, I mean, it looks fine either way, right? So, but these are two different vases, different flowers. Same look though. So you could make, with a row of these, you could make a whole set of cards for someone. You could do some happy birthdays, some thank yous, whatever works. All right, that's the first one. That's just using the blender pen with your watercolor crayons. Next, we're going to do some actual watercoloring. Now, I know that not everybody enjoys watercoloring, so there's two options I have provided. All right. So I did provide watercolor paper if someone wants to try their hand at like a background watercolor. The other option is just to go in and watercolor the chair and then use, so my goal is to make a background that looks like this. And it was actually, mine turned out way better than I thought it would. I am not good at watercoloring. I like to try. So anyways, I'm going to show you some watercoloring and you can decide if you can see that it's easier than you think maybe, or maybe not. Never know. I just need a gray here, basic gray. And I need pecan pie. Let's see, we need the early espresso. Where's my pecan pie? No, that's not pecan pie. That's not pecan pie. The one thing I have to say is that these color ends do not reflect, because to me this looks like Cajun Craze. This looks like, I don't know. They're not, don't look at the, the base colors because it won't be the right one. So I've got this. I need blue. And then I'm going to cheat. I do have, which one's darker? These ones are from either older sets or the other set. I'm going to use. So this is from the other set that is available, and this one's Coastal Cabana. If you don't have Coastal Cabana for the sky, obviously the sky would be more pool party-ish. So you could just take, if you have a re-inker, and use the blender or water painter, or you could use the stamp pad to get those colors. But I'm going to use my crayons here. And I'm going to start just by, you could draw first with a pencil, but that's just silly. It is going to go for it here. So I'm just going to kind of make a light line for my sand. Maybe I should do that with blue. Okay, and then we've got kind of a, like the land kind of further out. So we'll just kind of, I'm going to use the blue again because it's not all the way across. I'll just kind of do a line with the blue. And then we kind of have our basic shape, right, that we want. Then we're just gonna color. And the thing with the watercolor painter is it's very forgiving for water. So if you don't get the look that you want the first go around, let it dry or use your heat tool and help it come along. And then you can go like add more, or obviously you can't take away color, so it's better to be lighter at the beginning, and then see there's like this dark area here, and then it's just kind of light. And you can see like it, because it's watercolor paper, it's textured, so there is, but don't worry about the texture because it'll all smooth out with the water painter. Okay, then we need some basic gray here. So we'll come in with the, now I am not an artist or a watercolor person by any means. So don't, this is very basic. And you'll see it actually, I was actually quite surprised how it turned out. Maybe backgrounds are easier than, I don't know. Now, I wish I had a dark blue, but I don't seem to, because this is more on the dark blue side. So I'm going to put a little bit of darker gray here, and then I'm going to add a bit of blue, I think, because I don't think I have, let's see, what's this one? Oh, I do have a Night of Navy. Never mind. I assume it's from the other pack because I don't think it's in this one. Let's see. No, it's just blue. So Night of Navy must be in the other one. So if you have both packs, it makes it a little bit more of a complete set. I kind of miss, they used to have, when they did the crayons, watercolor crayons, not pencils, they had all the full color family sets, which was kind of cool. Okay, so we have that. Let's not mix that blue up. Then we'll take our water blue and we'll come in and color that. And then we'll make a little bit darker here. And then you could, like where the waves, the white of the waves, you could leave some white, but what I did was I did it all in blue, and then I came back with a white pencil to add the waves. Darker up here. Okay, then we've got our sky. So again, with this one, I just kind of came around and I tried to make kind of clouds-ish. Just kind of left some white here and there. You know, you can also add or take away stuff depending on where you color, right? So here, so you can see we have a bit, and then if you want to add even some gray to it, you can. I would maybe add it. See, if you add it all at the same time, and you just would have to make sure you don't want to mix them. So I'm going to start with the blue, and I'm going to add the gray after, just so I don't get muddy water. Okay, and I'm going to start, well, I may as well start with the sky here. And I'm just going to, and you can use a lot of water, and the more water you use, I find the better, because it actually makes that pencil kind of melt more. I don't know. Melting is not the right word for it, but blend, smooth. It makes it more a smoother, like you don't necessarily see the pencil mark. It just kind of becomes your watercolor base. So I like to use more water, especially when I'm using the watercolor paper, because it is so forgiving. So, and then and then I can come back and add some gray to that when it's dry. I'm just going to clean off my brush so I can go in to the blue here. And yeah, I'll just have to be careful when I'm doing the brown not to blend it with the blue. So I don't want to. So then you've got the water. Oops. Okay, that's clean. Then we'll go in and do the sand. And if you get a little bit too much color on your brush, you can wipe it off. I'm just squeezing out water onto the glass mat so I have extra water, not just what's on my brush. I find it easier to control. And then if you want to take off a little bit of the color and come back in. And then we can go on to the gray. And I'm going to start with the lighter gray here. So this landscape is in the designer series paper. There's some cutouts that you can use, but there's only a few. So you'll see you can make lots more on your own using this. Hopefully this doesn't turn to mud having mixed the two. Blue and gray, that should be okay, right? Yeah, they're both. Okay, I'm always quiet when I'm concentrating. Okay, so I have the basic, right? And oh, I need to add that brown at the top there. But I'm going to take my heat tool. I'm going to dry it up so that whatever I add isn't going to just... Now there is another way to use this to watercolor. I'm going to show you. So say you're not confident in coloring it and have it kind of be the way you want it to be. You can also take, like say I want to use my gray here. You could wet your water painter straight on and pick up some color, or you can scrape some color off with whatever, and then you can pick up the color. Like say if you had a little palette or something, and then you could come in and add some nice light gray to your clouds. Now I don't think I put enough, but you can also go, and then just, you might want to test how much gray is on your brush if you're doing it this way, so you don't have too much. You just want a light coverage. But then you want to make sure if you do it like this onto the pencil, oops, that's a little bit darker than I liked. If you do, you want to let that dry, because see, it'll be like super dark if you go to color while it's wet. So I don't usually do it that way. I find there's less control. And then if I want it to blend a little bit more, now this is wet, so yeah, I knew that was gonna happen. You do not want it to be wet when you're adding the color because it'll just get really dark really fast, which you probably don't want. It's all about having control. The more control you have, the more it'll turn out the way you're hoping. Okay, so that's done. And then, oh, let me make sure this is still dry. And then we want not early espresso, we want pecan pie. And we'll just add a little bit of brown here. Okay. So now, like I said before, you can do the waves with a white. Make sure it's dry. And then you can just kind of, like it'll be white. Oh, oh, you know what? It wasn't working with this. I ended up using the new gel pens. That's what I did to add that bit of wave. You can just kind of stretch it out a little. I don't know if you can even see that. It's there. Let me hold it up and see if you can, I don't know, can you see that? It's there, subtle, but there, just because my water isn't very dark. Now, I'm not loving these clouds. They're too blotchy. I think I'm going to come in. So this is what I mean by, as long as it's dry, you can keep coming in and adding or not taking away, but you can kind of change it as you go. I just want it to be more subtle. It's just too in your face right now, I feel like. Those clouds are just oops, are we in the puddle? I don't even know where my water puddle is. You can, I don't know if you can hear, but when the paper and brush are dry, it just kind of makes this kind of scratching sound, and then you're not really doing anything at that point. Okay, I feel like that's a little more subtle. Still not as subtle as I would like. Feel like it needs more over here. That cloud really got, there we go. There we go. That's better. So you can keep, just keep at it until you're happy with how it's looking. So now, not bad, not too bad, right? I don't know. Oh, that was a piece of crayon. um, I guess it depends on how picky you are. So I think for me, I'm thinking it's not bad. By the time I add all my other pieces and parts, I think it'll be good. But like I said, if you're not happy with it, you can. So for this one, um, you can use the blender pen. You could use the aqua painter or water painter, sorry. I keep forgetting they changed the names. You can use anything, just depending on if you're using the water painter and you're using regular paper, you just have to be careful with the amount that you put on so it doesn't warp. So you can see I'm not coloring to the lines. It's not, um, you can use the stamps as to know kind of where to add a little bit of darkness. And then you can go from there. So I'm going to use the blender pen. Eee, I must have yellow on here. What's going on? How did that turn yellow? Weird. Well, I've got a yellowy blue chair. I have to go back in with some more blue. We'll see. This is a weathered chair. Okay, then we can go darker. Let's come back in with a little more blue up here, try and get rid of that yellowish a bit. Not all of it, but some of it. You could always add more, like if this seems too light, we could add more. So that's our chair. And then I pre-cut, this is I believe it's still available, the sign design. I think it was in the last chance. Maybe it wasn't, maybe it's still in the usual. And the happy birthday or have a great birthday, it's kind of that perfect roundedness. So I stacked that with again I like so. And then I cut this down just because I feel like it's too much. I don't know if you can see that. I'm gonna cut it to here maybe. And then you can cut on either side as well if it's taking up too much space on your card. You can cut it down and down like so. And then if this is dry, you can do some stamping directly on. So we're gonna stamp some Old Olive, and they've got these two sizes of sprigs. So we're gonna do one full strength over, oops, almost messed that one up. Over here, like so. And then we will do, I'm gonna stamp off. Do one over here. Okay, and then we're gonna do, oops, a little one over here. And maybe another little one. So if we have our chair here, so maybe here. Okay. Oops, I'm losing my pieces. And then I'm gonna add some Calypso Coral, I think is the other color. And for this one, we'll use the smaller one. And I feel like I'm gonna stamp off just to start anyways. It's quite dark. Okay. There. All right. And then we just have the birds, which I forgot to grab. I don't think I want basic gray. I think maybe slate or one of the grays for the bird. There. I think this is probably going to come here. So let's get there. Maybe one. That way. Got that. And then we've got our background here. So we can glue this. Sometimes I feel like the stamp and seal is better for uncurling things. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you prefer glue or seal when your paper has a bit of curl to it? Okay. And then we'll put our chair and our birthday and add it to a white background. And then we have our card. So, if you just see this versus this, I feel like it's not bad. Obviously, this one is more picture-like, but what do you think? Do you like the real watercolor? I guess this is real watercolor. It's just printed out. Anyways, that is watercoloring with the watercolor pencils. Let me close this so I don't have water everywhere. Not that it leaks, but you never know. All right. Oop. That's card number 2. Okay, so this last card is a fun fold, which we'll normally do a fun fold or a 3D project or something. So it is, I did this card, this fun fold. I don't know if it was last week or the week before, but this is a variation of it so that you can see um, how different it can be depending on what products you use to do it. So I got the scenic, or I can't remember what this paper's called. Sunset Coast Suite. Beautiful. I don't know if you can see, it's got that shimmery stuff to it. Wherever you go. So unfortunately, the sizing makes me cut up two pieces for one. So it might hurt your heart a little bit if you are frugal with your paper, because it does take up more than the average bear's paper. All right, so we're going to start with an 8.5 by 5.5 piece of paper, which that is not what I wrote on here. I wrote 8.5 by 11, but I'm pretty sure it's 8. Let me see. I think it's supposed to be, I think that was a error on my part. And then you want to score it at 2 1/8 and 3 on each side. So I've got 2 1/8 and 3. And then I'm going to come on this side and I'm going to do 2 1/8 and 3. Okay. And then you've got your middle piece. So this is your card base, and you are basically going to fold it like so. So it comes in, and then wait a sec. Am I having a brain fart here? Yeah, so this goes the other way. And then this inside one goes the opposite way. So you have a Z here, and you have a Z here. You want this centerpiece to pop like this, and then you can close it like this. Okay, so that's the start of your card. Then we're going to take our two of the same of the pieces of designer series paper, and we're going to cut them differently. So don't cut them both at the same time. So for the first one, we are going to cut at, oh, I can't read my writing. I think it's 1 3/8. I'm pretty sure that's what it says. Oh, I guess I should be more careful. Okay, 1 3/8. And actually, before I even do this part, it's easier if you cut it down to 5 1/4. But let me just see which end I cut off. Yeah. So I'm going to go 5 1/4 this way, and I'm going to chop this top part off. Okay, gone. Then I'm going to cut, what did I say? 1 3/8. 1 3/8. And I'm going to cut. And then I'm going to go the other side, and I'm going to cut 1 3/8. Okay, so this now should be 3 1/4, which it is. And if you look at your card, it's going to go here. Oh, I didn't have to cut that down. I think I meant to go full. Anyways, it doesn't matter. You don't have to cut it down to 5 1/4. You could cut it to 5 1/2. Now these pieces are too small for here, which is why these pieces can be used for something else. Now we're going to take this piece and we're going to cut it down again to 5 1/4 since that's what we did. If you want it 5 1/2 so it spans the full length of the card, you can do that too. And then we're going to cut this one. We want 1 3/4 because these sides are 2 inches, or you could even go to 1 7/8. Just depends how much you would like to fill it. I'm actually going to go to 1 7/8. Why not? So I'm going to have 1 7/8, and that'll go on this side of the card. And then I'm going to go 1 7/8, and it's going to go on this side of the card. And this piece, which is the really cool piece, can be used on another project. So we've got a lot of pieces, leftover pieces and parts, but that's okay. Then we have this hurts my heart a little to cut this up to use on this side. I wonder if I should, no, it's better. Ew, it's so hard to cut this. It really is. All right. We're going to cut it down to 5 1/4 again. And then we need these ones to be 2 inches. 2 and 2. Okay, so these ones are going to be our outside pieces, like so. All right, then, oh, I hope I didn't use the wrongs. No, I didn't. Okay, so this piece gets set aside for another day, another project, and then we've got this one left. We're not going to cut this one yet, or at all for that matter, because we have 2 pieces cut out of Night of Navy. Now this is what the dies do from the Sunset Coast bundle. So this is the, I showed this before. This is the lighthouse, and this is how it cuts it out. So it cuts out the negative and leaves the other part, and then the sailboat. So I've already pre-cut that because my club people don't necessarily have these dies, and I'm able to die cut things for them. So they will have these pieces pre-cut, ready to go. Make sure all the pieces are popped out. And then this is going to go on the front of the card, and I will cut it out, but I want to figure out where to put it. Almost, I kind of like it almost all the way down. So I think it's easiest to glue this down onto here and then cut it the way I'm cutting it. Okay, I'll show you in a sec here. We want the sail to be down, and then we want this water piece. Okay, and then put it wherever you think is where it belongs. Oops, I do want it. I want to line up my line so that it matches the horizon. So it does look crooked here, but it's not going to be when I'm done. Take a baby wipe. I've got some glue on my table here. It's the last thing I need. All right, then I took These are the Spotlight on Nature dies. And it's better if you pop all of these things out. Oh, what size are the Nitre Navy pieces? All right. I kept a ruler out because I knew I would probably need it. But now, where did it go? Oh, I see it. Okay, the Night of Navy pieces are 4x4, and this one is 3¼ by 5½. So 4x4 for this one. It doesn't have to be 4x4. It just needs to be able to fit your circle. Now, this Spotlight on Nature just happens to fit this circle perfectly. So that is why I chose it. But if you don't have this one, you can use whatever and just make sure your paper is big enough for that. So then I'm going to tape it down. Now I am going through, actually, I probably do want to poke these out because I'm going through 2 layers of paper and it's gonna just make it easier all around if it doesn't already have junk in it, especially since it looks like it already has a couple layers in it. I really need to try and do the wax paper trick with these and see if it helps. Maybe I'll do a video on the wax paper technique. I think I might have long ago, like the beginning of this, which would have been during COVID, so quite a while ago now. But okay, most of it is out. We'll just tape that like that. We'll move all of these things out of the way. We'll grab our boss. Okay, and we'll put that like that. And so, yeah, we're wasting. I don't know if it's wasting, but we're using another piece of the beautiful designer series paper. So this card uses a lot. It's not just a fun fold, a fun fancy fold. All right, so then when you've got that cut, you will get a look like so. And you'll want to make sure to punch all those little pieces out. But then you get kind of a fancy border. But like I said, you could even just cut out a square. I'll show you what it's, when you see kind of where it's going, you can decide what you want for a shape. I can't remember. I think the stylus shapes circle. Can't remember if it's the biggest one is too small or let me take a peek here. Okay, so all those pieces and parts are out. Isn't that cute? I don't know if they do things like that on purpose where it just fits miraculously well, but yeah, I think this circle is too small. Well, maybe not. It just wouldn't give you much of an edge, but maybe like you could do the square, you could do, it's extra, it just gives it an extra pop with that edge. If you don't like that edge, the one on this one is the little florally ones. Oh, oops. All right, we don't need that. And then I'll put that aside. So many pieces and parts. Okay, so this is the first piece. Oh, I was silly. I should have colored it before I put it on here. Okay, so part of my reasoning, I'll do this right now, for using Native Navy is I wanted to show you that you can use the pencils on dark cardstock, and it's almost kind of like using acrylic markers. It's not as deep and solid as using an acrylic marker, but it's kind of the similar idea. So um, I used Gorgeous Grape. I just wanted to pick colors out of here. So I did yellow, but I don't think. Maybe I'll use blue instead. Where's that Coastal Cabana? Here we go. Because I think Coastal Cabana is in here, right? I think it's in the other one. Okay, so for this one, I just decided to do stripes. I'm gonna try not to get it on. Now you can use white first if you want it to pop even more. The trick is not to do not use water. Like this technique is, as much as these are watercolor pencils, you do not want to use it with water, or it'll just sink into the paper and you won't be able to see your colors anymore. So the whole idea behind this is to use them dry and keep them dry. Okay. So once you have your weight on there, then you can keep going. I think I'll make that. Now this is a fairly dark purple. I might have wanted to use like Fresh Freesia or something that would pop a little bit more, but I was trying to keep to the colors of the paper. Oh, that doesn't match. Oh, let's use blue. Be a bit better. I used yellow on my other one, but I didn't love the yellow. Okay, so we've got a blue. Do we want a blue boat or a purple boat or an entirely different color? What do you think? I did the boat on the other one yellow, and I think that's the part I really didn't like. Let's go with the blue. That's better. That's better. Okay, so we've got that one. Then I wanted to color the lighthouse. So you could do this, I mean, these are little things that I'm coloring, oops, but you can do this on a much larger scale. You could like stamp a large flower or a bird onto dark cardstock and then use your pencils to color it in. These are much smaller areas that I'm filling in, but still still uses the technique. Okay, so all that's white. Then on the inside, we've got these colors, and this is where this is going. This is going here. So we could use, what did we use in my original one? Oh, I kept it white, and then I just added some lighter blue. I feel like I want some red. I don't know what red this is. I would like, let's see, there is strawberry slush. We definitely don't have strawberry slush. That's not a mambo. What if we just used real red? Or we could keep with the blues. Be like a Greek white and blue. Maybe we'll do that. Okay, so we'll have blue. Ah! My strip went away. Like I said, this is a very little area to try and color, but it works. All right, I think I'm going to do this whole thing blue. Just the bottom will have the white, and then we'll put the roof blue here. Right, I don't know how well you can see that, but it's got the white and the blue. And then I'm going to glue this to this. Now it seems like it's just a smidge wider, so I'm just gonna just take a smidge off so that it's not sticking out. And then you can kind of, so up and down, I have a little bit of room to move. So you can decide kind of, does it sit better higher up? Does it sit better lower down? I think it's better lower down. Okay, so then I'm going to put glue. I'll just leave a little bit of space at the bottom there. You could put adhesive sheet on the back of this before you cut it out, so you don't have to get the glue in all the little nooks and crannies. So what did I say? I wanted to line it up with the top. So I'm going to kind of line it up with the top and then stick it down like so. All right, and then I'm going to add some anti-static powder, get my Versamark, and I'm not sure, I don't have my white embossing powder out. Okay, it says the adventure continues. No, I don't know what happened there, that it's got some, it's a little bit of extra. Okay. Oh, goodness. I'm getting a little crazy. We both sort of, oh, I should have done the coastal cabana would have looked more like a real boat or like your boat. Isn't no. Yeah. I can't even think. I think that's the new color. What's more, it's a lighter blue with white, right? Oh my god, or it has gray. That's what it is. Oh, I am like ready for a nap. Too many late nights and early mornings. All right. I think I put more miles on that car rental than good thing it was unlimited mileage. All right, now you can stick this straight down, in which case your message would go on the back. Or there's option 2 where you can add a piece of cardstock, which would be 3 let me think, 3 1/4 by 11, and then you would score it at 5 1/2, and then you would just put this piece on top, and then you have a card inside of a card. I did not provide that inside piece. I don't know if I forgot or if I was thinking, I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking. But anyways, if you want to have that inside piece, you just need a 3 1/4 by 11 piece of cardstock, white, basic white. Why does this look so different? I didn't switch pieces, did I? I hope I didn't mess this up. No, because that's purple on the outside. Okay, I think we're good. It just looks so different from one side to the other. Okay. Ooh, that slid. Okay, I'm not going to glue this down because I am going to add that extra piece. But so this is the way it would be when it's open. And then pretend this is down. Then we would close this like so. And then we put our pieces here. Oh my goodness, this is, no! No, 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 no. Oy vey's. This is not going well. All right, which way? What goes with what? I'm guessing it goes this way. It must be. So I'm going to put it so that it's right along that edge. So you just have three borders instead of 4. So then it's like they're touching. So that's why I wanted it to match. You could put this side, but then when your boat part goes on, I feel like it would be a little bit too busy. I'll show you in a second. Okay, so then you'll take a piece of vellum. I used the 12-inch vellum, the new stuff that's available. If you have the 8 1/2 by 11 from before, then 11 is fine. You don't need the 12 inches. And then this is just 3 inches. And then you just want to come around so you can see this is too much. Like you don't want this much hanging over. So you're going to cut it down anyways. So 3 by 11 is kind of the ideal. Okay, and then your your boat is going to go on top like that. So you're going to have to cut it down so you don't see that edge, and you want it less there as well. But yeah, so if you had like the sunset here and then the sunset here, unless you could match it to the same paper, that would be kind of cool. But I feel like this pops more with the purple background. And then I ended up stamping. So here's my finished card here. So I stamped Happy Retirement. This is from the same stamp set from the Scenic Coast. So it has the Happy Retirement and the Adventure Continues. And then you just pull that off. And then there you go. You've got your fun fold card. So yeah, those are the 3 cards using many different sets and suites, mix and match, but the whole point was to play with the watercolor crayons. So hopefully that has helped you, give you some ideas on ways you can use your watercolor crayons if you have some. Then yeah, show me what you make. You have the one I used, but might be in Arizona. You mean the watercolor crayons? Yeah, so recap. This was one. 1, 2, 3. Those are our 3 cards that we will be doing tonight. I better go have a nap. Actually, I have to go pick up meds for the puppy. But yeah, I think I better have a nap before tonight because I am exhausted. Anyways, hopefully you have a great rest of your week. No circle for the boat. Oh, yeah, you could just cut out a square so it fits. Like, it doesn't need to be a circle. It's just an extra fancier, fancier border. Um, yeah, have a great rest of your week. I will be here next Wednesday at my usual time. Hopefully. I don't see why not. Um, I will post it though. And yeah, so oh, you know what? Maybe I won't. I think it might be grad. Um, anyways, I will post and I will let you know when I will be live. I will be live next week. I'm just not sure at the time. All right. Have a great weekend. Have a great week. And hopefully we'll see you next week. Bye. Thanks for watching.